Okay, guys, welcome back to Unit 9. We are going to be looking today at area of circles and area of sectors. Our last lesson, we talked about how the arc length was a proportional piece of the circumference of the circle. And here we're going to look at how the area of a sector is proportional to the area of the whole circle. First of all, let's point out that we're talking about area. An area is two-dimensional. So it's always reported in your units squared. We want to make sure we're doing that. Okay, we talked about this in the last video as well. When we are talking about finding an exact area, that means we're going to have pi in our answer. So when we look at a radius is 29 feet, remember the formula was area equals pi times your radius squared. So that's going to equal pi times 29 squared. And you put that in the calculator and you get 841 pi, and we were in feet squared. This is your exact area, and you're not going to toggle that. Now when we have our diameter, we need our radius for our formula. So we're going to take our diameter and divide it by 2 to equal our radius. So here our radius equals 22 miles. Okay, so now we're going to have our area equals pi times 22 squared. And we're just going to put that in the calculator, and we get 484 pi, and we were in miles squared. Don't want to forget our units. It's going to. Okay. Now we're going to use these circles to find our area, and we're going to round to this nearest tenth. We're not going to do that until the very end. Okay. So let's think about this. This is my radius. This is my diameter. So I'm going to have to divide this by 2 when I get to this. So my area equals pi times 7.6 squared. So this is going to equal 7.6 squared. I'll put this in the calculator. We would get 57.76 pi yards square. And we want to toggle that so that we're going to get an approximate to the nearest tenth. We have 181.5 yards square. There's no pi in the answer here. For this one, I'm going to have my area equals pi times my radius divide by 2 to get my radius, 26.5. Pi r squared. So when I multiply 26.5 times 26.5, that's 702.25. And I was in centimeters squared. Now, when I round it to the nearest tenth, I no longer have pi in my answer. All right. Now that we've kind of reviewed area of the circle, let's look at area of a sector. Okay, the area of the sector is just kind of like a piece of pi. It's the region bound by 2 radii of the circle and their intercepted arc. See how it's kind of a wedge, just a piece of the pie. Now this is our formula for our area of our sector. This right here, just like when we were doing the length of an arc and we had our circumference formula, this is our area formula. Again, theta is that central angle. And then we're dividing by 360 because it is a proportional piece of the whole area of the circle. Find the area of the sector to the nearest hundredths. So we're going to keep pi to the very end and then we'll toggle. So here's my formula. I've dropped in my radius. Here's my theta. Remember, the intercepted arc of a central angle is equal to the angle. The central angle and its intercepted arc are congruent. So I'm just going to put this into the calculator. And I end up with area equals approximately, going to the nearest hundredths, 18.85 centimeters squared. Take a look at another one. Now I'm doing the exact area. My radius is 7 centimeters. But the degree of the curvature of my arc is 120. It's a central angle, so the angle equals the arc. Then I'm just going to use this and plug it into the formula. Here's my radius. There's theta. And when I plug this in, I'm going to get that my area exactly equals 49 pi divided by 3, or 49 pi thirds, centimeters, don't forget your units, squared. You're always in squared units when you are in area. Notice I have pi in my answer because this is exact. It is not an estimate. All right, let's look at a little application of this, combine some of our skills. How to find the area of a minor segment. That's this area shaded for you in pink. This is what we're looking for the area of. So we're going to take the area of the whole sector cut by the central angle and subtract the area of the triangle. Remember, the area of your sector is equal to pi r squared theta. Pi r squared is the area of the whole circle, times theta, your central angle, divided by 360. And then area of a triangle, remember, is base times height divided by 2. Okay. So now, the area of the minor segment is pi r squared times the measure of your arc, measurement of your arc, divided by 360. So now let's think about this. Measurement of your arc is the same thing as your central angle. Remember, those are equivalent. Okay, so now this is a 90-degree angle. So let's think about what we would put into these values. This would be a 12 for my radius, and this would be 90 degrees. So I would have pi times 12 squared times 90 degrees divided by 360. Then let's think about, okay, the area of my triangle here. This is the area of my triangle, 1/2 base times height. Same thing as base times height divided by 2. When I look at my triangle, it is a right triangle, but its sides are made up of radii of the circle, and all radii are congruent in the same circle. All radii are congruent in the same circle. So I know that this is also 12. So 1/2 of 12 for my base times 12 for my height. Okay? So now they've plugged in the values. And when you put this in the calculator, it simplifies. I get 113 minus 72. And now notice that pi is not in here anymore. So this is really an estimated value. It's not exact. So the area of my minor segment is approximately 41.10 yards squared. Okay, and that's as hard as it gets for area of sector. It is just formula work. So if you have any questions as you're working through your practice work, you want to hit me up through It's Learning, or you can come in for a help session if you're face-to-face. Remember, you will also have some situations where you're going to be able to take this area of your sector formula and manipulate it so that you can solve for your radius or solve for theta. So remember, you would already know what the area is, and you would start out by multiplying by 360 on both sides to clear your fraction. So don't be surprised when you see some problems like that. Again, if you get stuck or have any issues, go ahead and hit me up. We'll see you in the next lesson.